What's good, everyone? It's Anderson.
Christian here.
And this evening we have a special guest in the house. We're going to introduce him in a second. So, turn on, tune in, drop out, and get ready to ride this wave of weird as we enter 111. What's up, guys?
What it do?
We got the Briones Brothers in the house.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just kidding. That's how you say it.
Oh, is it?
You said it right.
Yeah, you said it right, dude. Good job.
Briones.
Briones.
Yeah, Briones.
Yeah,
Right. You
yeah.
said it perfect.
Briones.
Exactly, accent and all.
Christian can say it. Christian.
Yeah, my name is Christian Briones, Christian Briones.
And Orlando Briones.
Yeah.
Awesome. How are you guys doing?
Well, man, we're doing solid. We're
Awesome.
doing good. We're doing
Yeah,
good.
we've
It's
been
been
good,
good. Been good couple of days, couple of weeks and stuff.
Okay, that's cool. Like, the thing is, we're really excited to have you guys on the show. We inadvertently know each other way back, and you guys kind of made an impression on us. I'd say, like, it's been a while. Do you remember?
We're old. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hey, I'm on the same page, man. Do you remember a film festival called Splatterfest?
Yeah.
Oh,
I do.
crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's gonna
yeah,
be-
we did
You
know
just
he-
Nardwar us.
Wait, oh my God. He just Nardwared us.
Splatterfest. Yeah.
Splatterfest.
We
So-
made 2 films. Which one did you see?
I forget what the title was, but it was where it was just one long shot.
Oh, yeah. There's the zombie one.
The zombie one.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
I remember watching it, and I was like, I turned over to Christian, and I was like, that was pretty awesome.
That's cool, dude. I'm glad people liked it. So it wasn't a complete one shot. We were supposed to go through a window, but the rig was too big to fit through the window, so we ended up just like, we gotta cut it here.
Yeah.
It was good though. It came out cool.
It was
It was
cool.
fun.
That was really cool.
Yeah, we did that one, and I don't remember how many takes, but it was definitely more than 10,
Yeah.
12 takes.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a fun one to do, just for experimenting, and that was the first one we actually got to use the Movi on. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had just gotten that one, that gimbal. Now everyone has gimbals. You can
Right.
find them for under $1,000. Back then, they were worth like $15,000, so it was really hard to get them.
Yeah.
And finally, we were able to get one and put a little DSLR on there and ran around. That was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Getting everybody just plugged in. The funny thing is that one shot takes, they're actually not as hard to do as you think they would be.
Yeah.
They're like a dance. You do it long enough, you choreograph them long enough, dude, you get it fine.
That's awesome. So, tell all the listeners a little bit about y'all's history. Like, how did you guys get started? Like, what was the creative landscape like when you guys first were like, hey, let's make like movies, let's make commercials, let's get into the creatives.
Well, this starts back in the early days of our knowledge. Honestly, dude, we got into movies when we were little. So the reason how we got into movies is my dad had a whole bunch of movies. Story thing is that the reason he had a whole bunch of movies is because he did construction, and when he did construction, he worked on a VHS store. He worked at a VHS store, and they got robbed together.
Oh.
This was in Acres Homes, so this dude got robbed with this other dude.
They
My
both-
dad gets robbed a lot.
Yeah, they met Jesus together, bro. Yeah, he was. They're both laying face down. But yeah, our dad gets robbed quite a bit. He's a magnet for it.
For some reason, he's got robbed several times.
Yeah.
But afterwards, the dude gave him like a whole rack full of VHS tapes. So we had our own movies.
Yeah,
Store at the house.
2 whole racks in our
Of VHS
garage.
movies, yeah.
That's
VHS
dope.
movies, yeah.
We lived off of Steven Seagal, all these,
Champ.
yeah, all this stuff. We lived off of all that, and that's where we got our initial bug. And then we did if we can find it, we did a short film a long time ago called How To, and we did our credits on PowerPoint, and we just recorded the screen like that. So that was a long time ago, but that's where like the earliest one.
Yeah, we wouldn't even know what to call filmmaking or any of that. Or we didn't even know that it was shorts or skits or anything. But one of our buddies, Cesar Gochez, I think he's still in the industry as well.
Horror movie fiend, dude.
Yeah, he has the coolest freaking horror tattoos. And he had a little camera, and we're just like, we had a summer, and we just shot so many little shorts all around. Now, I'd love to see it again because we're what, 16, like maybe 17.
Yeah, they're like, if you look at TikTok videos, little skits, that's the entire thing was that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like how to get rid of your trash, and I threw the trash in my neighbor's yard or something like that in my backyard.
That's funny.
Yeah, dumb stuff like that. We were little and we're crazy, and it was fun, you know.
That's awesome. So, between the two of y'all, who directed and who was like camera op or DP?
Dude, we didn't even know filmmaking then, so it was just all three of us.
That's fun.
Like whatever, we didn't even know what roles were, so I'll hold the camera this time.
Gotcha.
Like kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, just whoever was not in front of the camera. And I think that's why, like, if you see some of our YouTube, we're so, like, nonchalant and not, like, there's a whole thing where we're trying not to overly produce on there. And it's, like, going back to those roots or, like, seeing what YouTube vlogging is where, you know, it didn't have a consistent design. So our design is to not have a design.
Yeah.
So we hand it to the person that doesn't know much about filmmaking and just to give you that kind of, like, that feel, you know, of just doing standard video, you know.
That's cool because I feel like these days you kind of overthink things, especially when you're in the industry and you're doing things on like a professional scale where it's like, okay, we got to, you know, you got to take time to really plan out like a shot.
Yeah.
And it takes hours to plan out one shot. Whereas like back in the days, it was like, who cares? Let's just do it. Let's just roll with it. And I mean, that's how like, I feel like, for me as well, you know, that's how my love for filmmaking started. Is just I had a camera on me all the time. I was filming everything. My mom would be like, "Stop filming me," you know, like everywhere, right?
Crazy.
But
Stop it.
you know, like it just it definitely is cool to go back to like your roots and how you started the creative process. So after that, did you guys go to like school for it, or how did you pick up more skill sets? And
well, from there, I moved into. I was always like just a computer geek, and I would enter contests for like web design, graphic design, a bunch of different, just a lot of design elements. I was really into graffiti and all that. So I always had this kind of like mindset of like being able to like to tell composition, lettering, like just doing framing and things like that. And for every photo that I would see, I always imagine like what happened before and what happened after that photo, you know? So motion was always part of my wheelhouse. And I went to school for media production at U of H, go Cougs. And I was there. I was a work study. I think I learned more being a work study, fixing everyone else's projects. You know, people would mess up their tape or their hard drive would fail, and I'd have to help them, you know, just fix their things. I learned how to solder lights and like, you know, do all that stuff. So I moved into like the TV realm of things. And once I graduated, quote unquote graduated, sorry, Mom. Then I realized that I hated TV and I moved into film. And at that same time, Christian was doing theater. And it got to a point where I was using him in a couple of our short films and school projects and stuff. And after that, I was like, hey, bro, like you even started a theater company for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And after that, we're just like, hey, bro, you need to be on our side. Yeah, I mean, he shifted over. And I mean, we've been doing that for probably 10 years now. I mean.
Yeah, I think it was just luck. Maybe luck, maybe blessings, maybe whatever it was. But my brother went into the technical side, like learned it, like without like specifically going to film school. And then I went into theater and learned the I guess you would say the philosophy behind
the directing and
directing character and all this stuff. And so doing theater, I even got to like do a study abroad trip. It was a small trip, and I got to do like some workshops at the Globe Theater where like Shakespeare did his thing.
Oh, wow.
And I was over there. I was like, dude, I went over there. It made me realize I really don't care for Shakespeare. I was here and I was like, this is overrated. Wow. No, like I really it's Shakespeare. People respect it, but my whole thing was when I got there, I was like, man, what can I want to keep doing this, but movies was where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, movies. I love the stage, and I
telling
could
stories.
do it on stage, but telling stories.
Yeah.
And I realized that we got that from our pops, though.
Yeah.
My dad loved telling stories, and I tell people this story all the time. That one of my favorite jokes he did was he likes telling long stories to see if people catch things. So one of the things he did was, I remember we were at church one time, and this dude was talking to like a bunch of dudes, and he started off the story like, so I found a headless man hanging at the park, right? And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, just hanging there. And then he goes on this long story, 15 minutes. These guys are into this story. Like, man, did people see? Like, yeah, people saw it too. I was telling. And then like after a break, he's like, how's a headless man going to hang in the park? Yeah. And everybody's like, oh yeah. Bro. Was laughing. And I'm just like, how you catch somebody on that long? And that's funny, dude. I'm just laughing.
And we got a lot of our comedic relief from our father too, man, because he was just crazy. Like, he just the way that he is and the jokes he would tell. He would always tell the jokes at the worst times, you know. Someone's funeral, he's like, damn, you know, well, at least doesn't have to pay no more bills, you know. Yeah, like crazy
dark
stuff.
Comedy
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
He's like the
it's
Chandler
like it's
Bing.
true, but it's still like, damn, yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, that's so, you know, we got a lot of that from storytelling and all that from our pops, and then also, you know, we got a lot of, like, he would watch a lot of like Mexican movies, foreign movies. So we got to see that kind of artistic intent, you know, of filmmaking. So, you know, besides like watching American Ninja, you know, 2 and
American Ninja 1, which was shot in South Africa. Did you know that?
Yeah,
I did not
South
know
Africa,
that.
yeah.
Have you seen American Ninja?
I grew up watching all of those.
Have you
Yeah.
seen American Ninja? It was shot in South Africa.
He was so mad when he found out.
I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick, but it's a white guy
Yep.
that becomes an Asian like martial artist to save America, but it's in South Africa. I was like, how does this make any sense?
Hold up. It was like the in the movie or where they shot it?
No, it was just where they shot it.
Okay.
I was like, but still.
I thought you were saying like South Africa.
You
This
know,
is where the present day South Africa.
This is South Africa. It's like, yeah, I remember. Like the guys who were there, they're like, yeah, I remember doing this.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
All right. So, anyways, going back. So, sorry.
But yeah, that's where we kind of came from. And, you know, after that, I started a company called OC Films, which we did a feature on, raised some money, did features on, hopefully distributed really soon. Even those things just take a lot of time sometimes. Branched off, created Filmatic, and yeah, it's been just since present day. That's really what we, you know, focus on now.
Gotcha. So when you guys started OC Films, I mean, what were some of the struggles, or how did you even fund films? Like, what were you guys doing?
The funding of films, well, OC Films is different. That was with a business partner that I had named Chris, really good friend of mine. We just did a commercial with him, you know.
He's actually out there in Laredo working on something for National Geo.
Yeah, Nat Geo,
Stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had so many issues just with OC. I mean, it's part of just, you know, starting a new business, and sometimes partnerships, you know, work, sometimes they don't, you know. And what I love about it is that me and Chris were so amicable about everything. We're so cool and and all that. But we knew, like, hey man, like when you put the writing on the wall and you figure out like, hey, money isn't coming in and things just aren't working, like, you know, you need to be able to move. You know, don't feel like that business or that endeavor that you have, like it's, you know, like you have to do it, like it has to be successful. You know, maybe you're not going to be a filmmaker with that company, but you might be able to do with something else. Maybe you need to find a person that can accelerate you, whether that's financially or maybe that's emotionally or spiritually or any other thing. Like, just sometimes you need to meet the right people that can, what we call, put you on, you know, help you, connect you with the right things and build you up. And I think that's a little bit of what it took. And that's why I had to kind of move on and just figure it out. But we had, man, as a small business owner, just in general, you have so many issues. And as a filmmaker in Houston, you know, in Houston, Texas, which everyone always says fourth largest in the U.S. and most diverse and this and that, over 200,000 small businesses, and there's just so many things that you think, but you know, it is a struggle here if you want to make movies, unless you do it yourself. And the only way to do that literally is to, you know, just start shooting your own short films, creating your own stuff, make a scene, you know, like little by little, just design stuff. And we started tailoring my demo reel to like things that I would like to film. So I would like work on a project and I'd be like, you know, the rest of it could suck, but this one shot like has to be amazing. and I would just take that and put it in my reel.
Gotcha.
And that helped, out a ton, and now that's mainly what I do, just cinematography.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
The funding your own features, that's a whole other thing. For me, it took building up my portfolio, people to trust that we can create something nice and something good. And but literally, even to this day, I explained that the investors we got for the last film, I approached them with putting money into a film is just a little bit better than putting all your money in a blender. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality of you getting a return is very, very, it's like winning the lottery, honestly.
Okay.
There's so much more you can do with, $100,000, you can franchise Subway. It's only like 20 grand. So, all kinds of other stuff. But yeah, so you just have to be very, very careful how you do it. And also having the complex of thinking that just because you make a film, it's going to be a blockbuster and it's going to do well. Like, just be very realistic with your expectations.
Know what you got.
Yeah, with what you can do, and we're excited because our next film we're probably going to do it for like 50 grand, and we're going to have fun with it. And we're just going to see where it takes us, and our expectations are super low for it, but you never know,
Right. So, but how do you guys get to that point of meeting with investors, or is that a part of another part of the business that people don't understand, where you're networking and you're communicating with the right people? Like, how does, because I know a lot of people will sit back, listen to it, and be like, yeah, but how do they get somebody to listen to them? And you said you're real, but like, who are you pinpointing? Or like, is it like, some oil tycoons who got like crazy money and they're into art? Or
that's the thing. The way I explained it was, we come from growing up in Acres Homes, which if people don't know what Acres Homes is, it's in Houston. It's predominantly black neighborhoods. And I think back then when my parents bought that house, I think they're like $20,000-$30,000 houses, And this is back in the 90s, crack epidemic and all that came from that area. So it wasn't the best area to be in, but luckily we were okay. Fast forward to now, like, my parents paid off that house and all that, but it's one of those things like, when you're a small family with two parents, both of them learning English now, they know great English. You're not going to have a massive savings account or any of that. So you have to find people. And the portfolio did one thing, but what we started doing was figuring just through friends, connections. Do you know someone that's in oil? Do you know someone that's in medical? Do you know someone that does real estate? Do you know someone that's a car salesman? Do you know someone that is just someone that flips, flips different things? Like, and then you talk to them, and the way we started is we went to one guy who just did pretty well, and he was like, yeah, I can give you 10 grand, and I was like, great. So from 10 grand, I can show people, hey, I got 10 grand here. Oh, we can double that. I'll give you 20. I'll give you. Then we got to 20, and then we got to 40, and then little by little, once one person trusts you, then more people can trust you.
Right.
The only thing that I say now, thinking of that, is like, when you take that much money from that many different people, you have a lot of people that can be on your back. So you have to be very, very cognizant of the type of person that you're dealing with that's giving you that money. So that's why I told everyone, if you give me the money, it's just a little bit better than throwing it in the blender. And I'll tell you right now, some of them are probably like, man, I threw that in the blender. Like, it's, it's gone. But we're working on it, and luckily we have this movie's about to get distributed, and we're hopefully going to start making the money, but this is years later.
Right. That's interesting, because it's almost like you guys have to be your own salesman at the same time, right? Like, you have to not only, convince or like, really sell, your talents and your skill set, but it's like, at the same time, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure after having the money. Now it's like, okay, now we have to actually do it. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's crazy that you guys at least preface it. Like, this is just as...
You have to, man. You have to be honest. You have to be honest about everything.
Well, I mean, people with money also want to see what you can do with money. Like, if you can do something with no money and make it look good, they're like, well, what can you do with this amount of money?
Right.
Like, they like seeing that. Like, for example, that Splatterfish was like, how much do you think the budget was for that?
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember. I know it wasn't a lot. It was like we paid for the food.
Yeah.
I mean, we own the gear. Like that's a totally different story. We had the gear to do it, but it can be like really cheap. But it gives people the look. They're like, okay, they can do it for that much. If you guys want to see it's gonna play right here, right now. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to mess with them. See if they're gonna give them an editing thing.
Yeah, we have it somewhere. We can find it.
Yeah, we can find it. We'll get a link later. I don't want y'all to post it. They're gonna have to.
That's
Just wait right.
No, but it's one of those things where we did a couple of those and we made them look cool. People saw that and now they're like, "Hey man, let's work on a project together."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, cool." And you bite the bullet on some projects because you're like, "This is gonna look good for me later."
Gotcha.
The pay's not probably there. These people probably don't know what they're doing, but you know what? We'll get something dope out of it, and we can sell ourselves with that.
But what is it that lets you guys know, like, hey, let's go for this one over like something that pays? Like, what is it? Is it something that you relate to story wise, or?
Well, opportunity, like a couple of them are yes, but most of the stuff that we're like, we don't have to take that much. It's our own personal stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
That we get to. But there's some instances where the pay's not there, where we get to either use something we've never used before, is like get the opportunity to get experience on something, or do something that we've never shot before. And we're like, if we get that opportunity, we go for it.
Yeah, one of the biggest things we're able to get with the feature like 2 features ago, I think. We talked to this people. They wanted us to go out and shoot in New Mexico, which New Mexico landscape beautiful. You know, they want to go do that. And the rest of it was in Dallas. We're like, Dallas, it's not, we're talking. I taught my kid to go Dallas. Sorry, but homies from D-Town. I apologize, but it is what it is. They were able to get a Panavision grant, which, like if you just read up on Panavision, it takes a little bit to be a part of that, to be on the list to do that. You can't buy Panavision. You can only rent it. You can only rent their cameras. Like you can't use your camera and their lenses. So there's like so many things that you need to, and a lot of massive movies have used those lenses and
Jurassic
cameras.
Park, Back to the Future.
I mean,
stuff like that,
so many Academy Awards, and I mean, you're talking about having that name attached to you. It's it's a lot, especially for people in the industry. And when we found out that like our name was on the list to be able to use this stuff, and that they accepted the grant, and we're able to. They gave us. I mean, Panavision took care of us, and they gave us a camera. For the project, of course, and a set of was it like 8 lenses? Like 8 lenses.
Primo, Panavision Primo.
They don't have a price on these lenses. They're all, don't break one, pretty much. I mean, they have plenty of them, but they're specialty lenses.
Gotcha.
So that was for us. It was worth not getting paid as much as we used to, just because the notoriety of using that stuff and being, and keeping keeping a good rapport with the company like that. Gotcha. is very important, and that's what you'll see that a lot of the like companies we do get sponsored by, we do work with. Like I don't work with I don't want to call them low level companies, but just companies who are like on the cusp and they're on the come up. Like I try to work, because I'm on the cinema side. I try to work with companies that have been established for years, and it just keeps your notoriety and what you're doing up.
Gotcha.
Also, for just pro tip, if you haven't done a feature before, you guys haven't done a feature. If you do one, Panavision actually has first time filmmaker grants. Which if you go, you're like, all right, this is my first time making a feature. They're like, all right, cool. Let us know who your DP is, because that's the thing. They're like, man, we'll give you all this stuff, but who's your DP? Like, who's your DP?
Yeah.
What's their resume? Like, if you can lure a really good DP, you can go like somebody who's on their list is like, yeah, he goes, you can use their lenses and all this stuff. You get the grant. You say, okay, this is my locked in date. It has to be like, you have to do it like more than 6 weeks before you're planning on shooting. But it's like, here's your locked in date. Here's your dates. Here's your lenses. Like that and all this stuff. They'll like, they're really big on getting connected to the next generation of filmmakers, because they know it's like, if we get a good connection with, like, say Orlando ends up like all of a sudden being DP on a really big
On a
studio
massive
movie.
thing,
He's like,
yeah.
no, he's going with Panavision. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. We're going with Panavision. Keep that
Nice.
money because they already treated you good.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, like
It's like they're investing in you, basically.
Right,
Yeah.
they're taking care of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
because
so cool.
they already know like a lot of filmmakers want to do that, and super talented people don't have that access to that. How about we give you that access? So, dude, just a pro tip in the future: if you have money, if you have ready for that, that's a good thing to lure someone with.
Gotcha. Dang, that's really interesting. I had no clue. That's cool. That's almost like a scholarship, right? Like
Yeah.
you're writing up like, hey, let me have some money to make this project or get into your school. So the other thing is like, how did you guys learn like all of the little film set basics and things like that? Like, was it just being on a lot of sets, or like, at what point were you like, did you ever feel like, man, like, we've never worked with more than like a handful of people? Like,
Right,
how do
right.
we handle the next step, and how do you go to that next step?
Right. Man, me personally, like when I was wanting to do, I started PAing on a lot of commercials.
Okay.
Like even now, yeah. I mean, if you don't want to do it, y'all can just jump into the PA pool and y'all start getting on commercials. And you end up, dude. I ended up driving around like the director from Space Jam, the guy who directed Space Jam, who's funny dude, super sarcastic, but I'm sarcastic too. So we got cool because I responded to the sarcasm with sarcasm. But you get on that, the guy who shot Daredevil season 2. I got to talk to him for a bit, and so it's like a free film school, right? But being on those sets, I saw how big productions run stuff, and then being on smaller sets, I saw there's some things we could fix here,
Gotcha.
but there's things that I'll take away from that, but things I don't like. Like there's some things that I don't like from that stuff, and there's some things I don't like from smaller sets. Things I like from that don't. So just being on those taught me. And also, just us growing up, dude.
Yeah.
We grew up with like, man, you got to take care of people.
Right.
Yeah.
It costs nothing to be a good person, like being nice, man. And a lot of people have that stigma of like the director who's like, get off my set, get off that thing. And
Yeah, we don't deal with that.
yeah, we don't deal with that,
Yeah.
man. We're just like, hey, man, I appreciate you, dude. We're gonna feed you good.
Yeah.
When we're on set,
Yeah.
we want to feed you good. We want to take care of you because you're working on this thing.
Yeah, you could be with your family, you could be doing something else, but you're
Yeah.
giving up your time to
that's-
come here. Yeah, it's different, and the culture is different, and just in the industry, you know. And that's the one thing where, like, you know, we're from Houston. We don't do a lot of work here in Houston. I mean, we do work here. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the majority of the stuff. This year, I think we probably shot probably 80% more of the stuff we've done has been outside the city.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and that's pre-COVID. It was becoming that too. You know, but post. Sorry, you can't say that word, right? I forgot. Post C word. Yeah, you know, we are. We were calling it the upside down. We're calling it the upside down. But post that, you know, it's cool that everything came back on and that we can go plug into anywhere. Like when we got asked to go to Cape Town. This is part of a Cape Town, South Africa. This is part of a long form documentary series that we got hit up to do for Discovery Plus. It was
That's
a
so sick.
it was a 4-episode doc on some pretty crazy stuff. And we did probably about 50 days in total, not including traveling. And that took the majority of our year, you know, and so far. And it was dope because halfway between it, like we weren't supposed to go to Cape Town. We weren't supposed to go film it. We're just supposed to be in charge of all the B-roll here in Houston and all the master interviews, all that. And they're going to do all the narrative and reenactment stuff in Cape Town. And halfway through, the director was like, hey, man, you know, you need to come. Like, you need to come and you need to finish the whole project, which is great for me because, you know, as a DP, you want to have the whole series under your name. You know, they put 4 episodes and they're all under. And Christian got to gaff the whole thing, which is awesome too. And
Nice.
once we're done, except the narrative one,
The narrative part over there.
was by Steve Hicks
Steve
at
Hicks.
gmail.com.
Don't hit me, Steve. I like Steve. He's a cool dude.
He'll never hear this. But either way, what was cool was that we went to Cape Town, and this is a very established industry already there, right? Like people that were on our show, our AC, like they came off Raised by Wolves and like
Resident Evil, the Resident Evil
Evil.
Netflix show.
Yeah, like,
and all this stuff. These people,
yeah,
they worked on American it. No.
and all that stuff. And we're plugging in, and it's like, we know what we're doing, and like they love the way that we're working. They're, we're not pushing them too hard. They're like, man, why are you so freaking easy? Like you're not making it. They were all expecting to work, over 12 hours. Man, most of the days we finished them in 10 hours, Wow. We knew what we wanted. We're there to get stuff done. I wanted to go home and sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool because you learn by shooting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other cool thing is that because of YouTube and because of the digital age, like you can build your own culture.
Yeah.
You can build your own type of film culture. You can get with your friends and start building stuff. You can figure out how the money is distributed. All these, if you go into the industry and you ask right now, like, hey, I got a movie. And if you say, I got $20,000 to do a feature, the industry will laugh at you. They'll laugh right out and say, like, well, you can't. That's maybe one day. Maybe that's like a pre-production day.
Damn.
That's the way it is.
How dare you come and
Yeah.
They're like,
It's like that, If you're like, hey, I want to do this mirror shot, they're like, oh, no, that's going to be a $10,000 shot. You need to do this and that. And we're like, man, we'll just get a mirror, go buy IKEA, shoot right through it, cut a hole through it, break it, do another one. Let's figure it out,
Yeah.
But the industry is a machine, just like everything else. And for you to connect into that world, if you want to, I don't tell anyone like not to do that because it's an established world. You start as a PA, then you move into like any department if you want to be a sound PA or a camera PA, and then slowly they put you, or a producer, they put you into that role little by little, and then you're moving up the rank. But it might take you 10, 20 years to get to the actual position that you want. And that's okay. Like some people love that. They love having that camaraderie on set and knowing that you're all part of the cause and you're jumping from one project to the other. Houston doesn't really have that because we're a commercial town, so you don't see a lot of films. We get one film like the Mohammer that's coming out on Netflix. Almost everyone knows about it. Almost all of Houston worked on it. But when's the next one? You know what I'm saying? And the good thing is, people are promoting it and stuff, and the more people see Houston, the better. But literally, if there's 3 of those shows, our industry would be like tanked. Like there's no way to bring people in.
We can't service that kind of show. We don't have enough people, right?
Yeah, and that's just Houston. But yeah, or you can do what we do. Like we have our own jargon. Like we have our own jargon on our sets. We do things our own way. A lot of our jargon has been borrowed and copied by other different parts of the industries and things that we do. And it's funny because we love doing that. We love being counterculture, and
that's cool.
Like Lindsay's like, hey, we asked for 50. We'll ask for what the
Curtis Jackson.
We'll ask for Curtis Jackson.
Yeah.
Give me the Curtis
That's
Jackson.
tight.
Yeah, we asked for the Savage for the 21.
Give me the Savage.
Yeah,
21 or whatever like that.
Yeah,
at the same time, like people like they're like, hey man, like I'll say something. Like Apple Box, or I'll say something, and they're like, that's called this in the industry. I was like, oh, thanks, man. I'll remember that next time you pay my bill. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's always
thanks, dude. It's like, that's awesome. Like, man, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, then get it.
Like, what's a C47?
Exactly.
I like that. I like C47 name, though, because it's such a complicated name for something that's been used.
So trivial, which explains the industry in itself. Like so much complication for such simplicity.
Simple things.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
One thing that I learned is that I've told people all the time that there's a beauty in simplicity. There's beauty in something so simple that you can catch, right? Like getting an image, sometimes it's just like, dude, just open that blind. And sometimes the sun comes in just perfect and you get that shot. I just remember being on set of this one commercial, and it was like I can't remember, but it was like we're at some Olympic-sized pool. We used to do something for Olympic swimmers or something like that. I was just the PA. The shot was like this. Boom, we're showing this side of the gym, right? And DP's just like, I don't know. He's like, I just gotta. It's like, we have all of our equipment there. It's in the shot. It's like, all right, everybody, come on, we got to move. Like, they got everyone, all hands on deck to move. Crafty, everybody just moved all the stuff. And I'm like, you literally can move the camera like this, but you're so stuck on the idea that this is the perfect shot for a commercial that's going to run somewhere random, maybe on a YouTube video that some kid's going to skip while he watches toy videos. It's like, well, what is like, just turn it. Nobody cares. Client, but I'm like, but I'm just PA.
Right.
That's just me. This is your project. I can't say anything. Whatever. That's just my thoughts going in my head while I move some bleachers out of the way.
Yeah.
It's like, this is silly. But and then after that, I'm just like, dude, like I've seen us do shots where we're like, this. It's like, dang, man, what are we going to do about that tree? And Orlando goes.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, that looks good. Yeah. It's like,
all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
go.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine. Like,
yeah, it's not too complicated, guys.
So when you guys were coming up, who were some of the filmmakers or inspirations that you guys had? Like, where did you grow your or cultivate your aesthetics?
Man, so there's me. One of the filmmakers I follow a lot. I haven't watched him as much lately. I didn't watch the last one, but Cary Fukunaga. Dude did Sin Nombre.
Oh yes, I've seen
Beast of
Sin
No
Nombre.
Nation.
Yeah.
He did the latest
Beast of No Nation with
True Detective season 1
with Idris Elba.
Yes.
He did those, and I liked his stuff because it was a very raw, naturalistic approach to a lot of that stuff. The stuff look like if you watch Sin Nombre, a lot of those people are really good actors, but no one feels out of place. Like it doesn't look like I got some guy from some rich Mexican person's like, you need to be an immigrant. You need to come here and remember, life is hard for you. He's like, I remember when my life was hard. Like, no, they don't. Like, this person looks like they belong there. Like, they're literally going. I was like, this naturalness looks good, and I like that. And that's where I liked a lot of his stuff. Like his that. Work. I didn't get into much like freaking Steven Spielberg, all that stuff. I just thought that was the standard. Yeah. You know, but him was one that I followed. I haven't watched his newest movie.
Gotcha. What about you, Orlando?
For aesthetics, I would say City of God, Trop d'Elite. I mean, all those Brazilian type of films. They just kind of messed with my brain, you know. Like when I saw them, I was like, "Dang, I didn't know you could do that with the cameras and stuff," you know. For kind of just sheer entertainment of like how to move a camera for no reason. Of course, Michael Bay. Yeah. Just to watch it, you know, you watch it as a 14-year-old boy, you know, little teenager kid. You're gonna fall in love with all his movies. That's just what he does, you know. Yeah. He like caters to that market. And you know, like and I followed a lot of the cinematographers that were with him and were with you know, a lot of the other artists. Now I look at people like Bradford Young, who, you know, I believe is, you know, the next great like American cinematographer. You know, after Greg Fraser and all these other people.
Love Arrival.
He did Arrival. He did Selma. I mean, he's done so much now.
What is it called? I was telling like Bradford Young, I think is like really good American. In the last 10 years, you know how many Americans have won Best Cinematographer? One. That was Eric Messerschmidt for I don't even remember, Mank. On Netflix, it's a black and white film. So he's the only one who's won. Oh, again. Wow. The next year, Dune won, which was Greg Fraser, who's right now is DDP. He did Mandalorian, Dune. He's been doing all that stuff.
Batman. He did Batman.
He did Batman, the newest Batman.
The new one?
Yeah, so he did all those, right? Yeah. He's created the new Hollywood look, right?
Gotcha.
Right.
So anyways, but the thing is, my whole thing was like, you know, Dune got pushed back a year because of COVID. Sorry, the C word. But it got pushed back. It's like, so it's very possible if Dune had been released, it would have been 10 years since an American had won at all.
Wow.
Because it's like for some reason the aesthetic that we have of like old Hollywood, all these old American directors. I mean, Steven Spielberg, he used the Polish guy, but all this aesthetic that we've grown up with has changed over the years. And Orlando actually was talking about this a long time ago that sometimes, dude, we look at the American DP and it's like, that's a standard. Everybody follows a rule and all that. But then he went to do this shoot down in Peru. Yeah. And what did you see?
Yeah, when we're in Peru, I went to go do a documentary down there. Oh, no, I did a live shoot. but they had a bunch of like kids with DSLRs like shooting for the live show. And man, I was just looking at their framing, and their framing wasn't like in what we call in traditional thirds. It was in quadrants and all kinds of things that if you really study, you're just like, this is the regular stuff. And then like, if you go to the back, like, and this is what the rest of the world does, you know?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I showed them, I'm like, you guys know what you're doing? They're like, no, well, this looks good to me. And I showed them like Mr. Robot. And I'm like, look at this. Look at all your framing and look at Mr. Robot. They're like, dang, that looks like how we frame. I'm like, yeah, because they did the design this way, but you guys are seeing it this way, you know? And that was really interesting, that, you know, you can take that style from other worlds. And that's why City of God was impactful to me, because, you know, we grew up watching American Ninja, you know, America's Pride and Joy, and, you know, watching just very standard stuff. And, you know, and not that standard is bad. It's a look, you know? But it was something that when you did watch foreign films, it would just change the way, like, you know, the purpose of the lighting and the filming and the technique. It wasn't just to make the next mass market movie,
Right.
You know, that's going to be, you know, that's going to be pushed that summer, you know.
So in terms of actual films, what are some of your favorite films that you adore and you're just like, I'd say semi life changing, not just entertainment purpose, but just like where you're like, man, that hit all chords.
One that I grew up with a lot and I absolutely love because I've seen it so many times. I even have the Blu-ray like diamond version with the sing-along is Lion King. The original Disney Lion King is just, to me, I've loved that movie since I was a kid. I thought it was just a great story, great moments like that. One that I've watched as, man, this movie's bad, but I love it, is Starship Troopers. You ever seen that one?
I just mentioned it.
Yeah.
I just
Starship
mentioned it.
Troopers. Dude, I always meant, like, when I'm at a sports game, I'll yell out, have you ever heard Flip 6-3 hold? Do you know what that means?
It's from that movie.
It's from that movie. It's the stupidest football play I've ever seen in my life.
It's awesome.
Literally, they go flip 6-3 hold. What does that mean? Just throw me the ball, Diz. And this dude runs. The play is literally, they double team him. He does an impossible flip over them and catches the ball. I was like, that's a stupid play. I was like, that doesn't make sense. But every time I'm at a sports game, I'll yell, flip 6-3 hole. Like, but nobody gets it. And I'm okay with that. I love it. Anyways, that one. Movies Sin Nombre is one that I just thought because it gave me that naturalistic thing.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I rewatched it with my wife and I was like, what'd you think? She's like, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that's it. No, but recently the movie that I went in and I was like, dude, I actually really like this movie. I like Nope. Have you seen Nope?
We just saw it. Like
I saw it in
2 weeks
IMAX.
ago.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Yep,
I haven't
we
seen it
did.
yet.
Oh.
I was entertained like the entire time. I was like,
Definitely.
this is a good movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I really like this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I can't put my hand on it, but everything just felt good about it. So, yeah.
Movies that really changed my mind or like messed me up. American History X, that was a big one. Which you just sent me a whole thing of like how the director doesn't even want to claim it as his own, which is completely fine. You know, I don't care. I've met some pretty dumb directors. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so American History X, Ciudad de Dios. That one was, of course, one that changed my mind. Even what like someone that what's it called, the main person, like
The main character, yeah.
The main character could be a person of color, and they could be speaking a different language, and someone would actually spend money and put something in the bad guys, and everyone could have all these different things. Like, that movie was really cool, very, very well told. Guilty pleasure movie was The Big Hit.
Dude,
Have you
we
seen
were
that?
just talking.
Dude,
The Big Hit.
Literally
That was
2
my
weeks
favorite
ago.
movie
So-
as a kid.
Yeah, it's a big
So
hit.
I run jokes with that all the time. We're playing Warzone. Like, he'll kill somebody, and I run up and I shoot him, and I'm like, I got him, guys. And everybody will congratulate me for the kill. Like, good job, man. You got. I saw you get him. Yeah, you got him. Because it's like when Lou Diamond Phillips kills something, guy like, dude. Like, yeah, I saw him get the kill. You know, he got it.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man.
Remember I said I was gonna give you my boat? I lied. Yeah,
I love it.
I love that movie. Lou Diamond Phillips, man. But yeah, And besides that, like more recent stuff, it's kind of hard for me to kind of like, I'm so bad. Like I train myself to fall asleep watching movies. So like I'll do a thing where I'll knock out like after watching for 15 minutes or so. But shows lately, I think has been really like TV shows who have been that arm of like, you know, I think like the cinema kind of moved over into that realm. So there's a lot of good shows that have been out, and I'm trying to catch up with a lot of them. And I like them because they're episodic, you know, and I can take my time and take breathers with them. I was trying to watch The Bear, which is really fun, but it's very it gives you a lot of anxiety watching it. So
I haven't seen it yet. I want to watch it. It's on
You guys
Hulu.
ever work in a restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, all kinds of movies like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if you had the opportunity to apprentice or be an understudy to anybody in the industry, who would it be?
Man.
Like, and it can be literally anybody.
Let's tell you what. One thing that I talked about being an apprentice to Homeboy from us. Well, not a PA for Homeboy from Space Jam. All right, so like I don't care. The stories are funny that he did, but what the things that he did were the stereotypical Hollywood things. And when I got to see that, I was like, it's okay to do your own thing, to learn as you go, and it's okay to do that skill wise, technical wise. Man, if I could understand, so you know who's someone that's really talented in what they do? Jordan Peele is a super talented dude in everything he does.
I agree.
Him, Lin-Manuel Miranda, you know who that is? He wrote Hamilton.
Yeah.
He wrote In the Heights and all that. Super talented. And these are people that are multi-talented in so many aspects. So just having a dinner with them, talking to them would be cool. That's what I would do.
That is cool. That is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't think of anyone. Not really. Yeah, because I'm so like I'm so non-starstruck, or you know, I look at, you know, like I'm a regular dude, and I would hope that some of these people are regular people. And there's that whole thing where it's like, you know, they say don't meet your hero. You know what I'm saying? So I always like, I kind of, if I see someone, like one day, like when I was at NAB, I saw Roger Deakins walking by, you know, and he's the Deke, you know, he's like the guy, you know. And I remember, and I saw so many people crowding around him. I said, man, I would hate that. But I saw him. That was at the same time when American Cinematographers had him on the cover, so everyone was trying to get him to sign it. But I was like, bro, like, yeah. I was hanging next to Shane Hurlburt, which is another guy that did Terminator, a bunch of other ones, and Matthew Libatique, which is another guy that did Black Swan and all them. Yeah. So they were like standing next to us, like checking out some equipment and stuff. I was working with Wooden Camera at the time, just helping them out, and we see him walking, and then we see them, and they're like, "Hey, are you Matthew Libatique?" And that dude was like, just kind of like did the Homer, like, he was like, and Shane Hurlburt was like, "How much is this?" You know, it was like a whole little thing that happened there. Like three of like at that time prolific DPs, Deakins is still prolific. But Matthew Libatique too. He did NWA. I mean, he did a bunch of just amazing films. But yeah, I mean, working with him, I mean, I hate being on set for 12 hours, so I probably wouldn't want to be like near them. I'd love to just like, share a drink, like ask them some questions, and it probably wouldn't have to do anything with film. It probably would have to do with like, you know, what was that one thing that happened that literally changed your mind, you know.
I'd rather have a dinner with someone than apprentice someone.
Yeah. That's what I would love for sure.
That's really cool.
Oh, and Michael Dudikoff. Yeah.
The guy from
American Ninja. Yeah, the lead guy. He said, "Why'd you go to South Africa?" He's like, "I was in a movie in South Africa." Probably he's gonna be what?
Yeah. And the other thing I had on my mind to ask you guys is, just as creatives, how, like, where do you guys see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? I mean, because you don't want to be on set for 12 plus hours. And I know the feeling, because whenever we have projects that we're working on, I'm always like, I always tell Christian, I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
You're just so broken at the end of the day.
Because we literally do all of it, right? So like setting up, run the cameras. Like, I mean, it's not like filmmaking. It's more like run and gun, you know?
Yeah, it's still production. It's all
Yeah.
production.
So we're always like, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing all of these.
Well, the
things.
dope thing about Cape Town when we were there is like since that industry was already established. I mean, we went there and we are like in a 40 plus set. So we were literally just walking in and plugging in. It was awesome because I would get there. We had the cam ops. That's one thing I do like about the industry. Everyone has their roles and they can knock stuff out. And like hitting record on the last shot, cutting, literally handing the camera off, and then like the PA's already.
You even have to hit record too.
Yeah, they were hitting record. Yeah,
That's awesome.
The car was literally pulling up, and director and us like walking straight. Okay, see you later, guys. You know, that was pretty sick. That's a really cool part of it, and I could last a lot longer if I was in that kind of environment. And I hope that we can cultivate that here. You know, but there's a massive difference, like how much they get paid versus people in U.S. get paid and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
It's a luxurious business, realistically, to get paid. As much as we do to tell stories. I mean, you're talking about this is the peak of art. You know what I'm saying? Getting paid to do this kind of stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. It's like selling that banana that was on the wall. You know, I just I when people complain about this kind of world, when they make that much money, it kind of infuriates me knowing from where we came from and what we've done to get to where we're at. And, we look at all the gear, even the stuff you have here, like we didn't have access to any of this stuff back in the day. Now things cost cheaper, but they're not bad quality. Like back then, if you bought something cheap, man, it broke the first time you used it, So with that said, like lights are getting smaller. Everything's getting smaller. So I do think that we can be on set longer, but in the long run, I think we want to be producing and directing projects more. We want to create more content. And I don't necessarily want to be a cinematographer the rest of my life. I mean, maybe, if I don't have to cam op, if I can just be at the monitor, then I'd love to do this because it's fun. It's awesome to be able to build the frame, set everything, the lighting and all. I mean, it's really is awesome when you get to do something the way you want it. But besides that, like, I hope that, honestly, if I make enough money, I'd rather just be with my family, hanging out, let them live a good life, and, set up our parents and all them too. That's really where, building some kind of legacy for our future generation. And then they can throw all the money away.
There's one guy on set I was with. He's like, "Yeah, man, I just love working on it. I just don't have time for things." I'm like, "That's crazy, dude." If you like work every single day, really long hours, whenever you die, they give you a headstone that says hard worker. It's pretty cool. Get the letters cool font and everything. Yeah. It's like go enjoy life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we love this stuff, all that, but man, I can tell you, if at the end of my life they allow me to replay one day, it'll be the most simplest day where I'm in bed with like my wife and we're just chilling there. And we're just one of those days where you just chill there, and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I would replay that day because that is the most perfect day.
Joyous day.
Yeah, where you just aren't worried about a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of it, all this stuff, we're doing it and all this stuff. I love it, man. It's luxurious. It's cool, but I'm just cool with living, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like lately it's been, and it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. For some it is, and some it's not. But I feel like there's been so much of like a push for like that hustle mentality lately. And it's like go, 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 go. And it's good because, it's good and it's bad because if you don't stop to realize like that you're in a rat race, it feels like, what was it all for?
Right.
Like, are you going to do it for notoriety? Or are you doing it to open up doors? So like what you said, you can just be, ultimately, and I tell Christian this all the time too. I'm like, at the end of all of this, I would like to just be able to raise my kid, be with my kid and my wife, like, the whole time. Like, I wouldn't want, like, to miss out on that because I'm doing the hustle mentality and I'm working all the time. You know what I mean? So
you lose sight of what you're doing it for. Like you guys said, like setting up your parents, giving back to them what they gave to you. And then you get stuck in like, I have to chase. Yeah. But then, you kind of like just get distracted. But you have to stay grounded.
You got a big family too?
I it's not too
No.
big. Yeah, I mean like small. I
Oh,
mean,
no. You got a
yeah.
big family?
I have a really big family.
Yeah, yeah. I was just wondering, like, when a lot of times you're like, there's a lot of people I ask in the industry, like, man, you got a big family? Like, nah, I'm just single dude. Like, you got like people who are like been in the industry a long time. It's like, man, so like, oh well, you know, I'm not. I haven't seen my kids in a bit, or I haven't done this in a bit. I'm like, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
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 Kind of.
They just got stuck in the grind.
Yeah, it's anyone that wants to be a workaholic. I mean, you could do that, you know,
Yeah.
all day. If it's something you like, then okay, cool, do it, you know. But
Yeah.
for me, like, I think we have a bigger purpose here. Well, the cool thing about, you know, storytelling or making, you know, doing films is, or creating films is having someone sit down and watch, you know, being able to literally impregnate them with your ideas, visions, thoughts, and for them to give you that little piece of their life, you know, and to accept something that you've given them, whether they like it or not, you know, it's something that's very powerful. So I think that's important in the way that we do these films and we do that. I mean, you know, these things are meant to help create change and help also, you know, just build people up, or sometimes it's there to tear people down, a certain group of people down. And, you know, so you just have to focus on what you're, on what you really want to do, because, you know, at someday you're going to get that platform, you know, and then it's how you utilize it. And, you know, that's why for us, you know, you guys invited us over, and thank you also for the Jamaica. Can you believe this? It's ridiculous. You already finished the horchata.
Homemade.
Yeah. Homemade right here.
horchata.
I mean, it was,
That's how we do it.
It's
here.
our side hustle, man.
but, you know, yeah, you guys, like, just even, you know, inviting us over to us, it's, you know, we're super grateful for that, because, you know, honestly, they say, like, you don't know the way that people see you until you've been seen, right? So it's like you wait for that, and what we try to do is, like, when people are with us and you've been to our workshops and seeing, like, we're people person. The only thing is, like, when you're bombarded with people, you kind of have to put that gate. Yeah, I have a wife, I have a kid, I need to give them time too. So you can hit me up, and if I don't respond right away, I'm sorry, but we do when we're with people that are like-minded. We love to just share and to give and do what we can. But if you really want to just be a part of that, I mean, go check out our stuff that we're doing on YouTube and everything else.
Yeah, go ahead and how can our audience find you guys, or you guys want to
Follow the link right here. No, I'm just kidding. See things like follow the link right here. Also, this video, and check out this cool face he's gonna make right now.
You can follow on Instagram at This Is Filmatic. We also
at my full name, actually, it's Christian Federico Briones.
Yeah, it's long. And then on YouTube, you just type in Filmatic 1. You'll see our logo, and just click in, and it's a lot of us just being dumb and funny, and
I love it.
Just,
They're cool skits, man,
just taking not taking this industry that we're in seriously.
Awesome, Christian. You want to close this out?
Yeah, and go ahead and DM us, follow us on all socials. Enter ENTER, the number 1 at and11 ELEVEN. Did our camera just cut?
Yes, it's okay.
That
We're
was
still
good
rolling
timing.
here. We're still
I was like, oh man, okay, well, you're done.
This is the part where you animate this.
yes. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.